guys, it's Brandon Miniman from Pocketnow.com, and this is the hardware tour of the highly anticipated Samsung Omnia II. Now, this device will see a release on Verizon in the US in a few months, and it'll also see release on several global carriers within the coming weeks and months as well. Now, this particular model is a European import, and it has the UMTS 1900 band, which is pretty rare for a European device, which means in some parts of the United States, where I live, fortunately, you will be able to get 3G on AT&T. So I've been getting 3G, actually HSDPA at times, which has been quite terrific to be able to have it on this device. So let's talk about the case that it comes with. It's more of a pouch than it is a case. It has this strange pattern on it that's not characteristic of leather or anything else you see. Kind of looks like a zebra. And on the back there is a hole for the speaker. And let's slide it out and take a look at the device. The most stunning part of the Omnia II is the screen. It uses AMOLED screen technology. And what that means for you, the end user, is that the blacks are more black, the colors are brighter and more vivid, and power consumption is a little better. If you want to see a technical definition of what a AMOLED screen does, check out Wikipedia, but in terms of the end user, it's all about color clarity and power consumption. So let's zoom in onto the top here and we'll take a tour around the device. So this particular model has 8 GB of onboard memory. The Omnia II will also come with 16 GB, so you can store photos and movies and lots of documents if you do that kind of thing. We have a speaker here, and then we have a front-facing video camera if your carrier supports it. Now, what you can't see behind here is a light sensor and a proximity sensor. The proximity sensor is used to turn off the screen while you're on a call, while you're holding it up to your face, which again helps to save on the battery life. So the screen is 3.7 inches diagonal. It's the biggest resolution that Windows Mobile can support, which is 800 down and 480 across. The screen is indeed very, very crisp, very clear. The blacks are super black. The only problem with the AMOLED screen is that if you take it outside, you'll notice a milky white coating appear on the screen. It makes it difficult to see things. The contrast is greatly reduced, and I guess that's just a characteristic of AMOLED screens, or perhaps it's a flaw with how Samsung made their display. Let's take a look at the buttons here on the bottom, which have a nice kind of brushed metal look to them if you move it around in the light. We have a very large call start and call end key here. And this button in the center, it's not a 6-way D-pad as it may look. It's actually a button that launches the program switcher cube, which we'll talk about later. It'll also launch the program menu item. And again, we're going to go through that in detail coming up soon on the software tour review. So zooming out a little bit, we'll go to the side of the device where we have a volume rocker and what looks to be a soft reset hole here. Going on to the bottom, we have the microphone. On the other side, we have an OK button, which will actually close a program, so it's kind of convenient if you're just tapping along like so. And also a camera button, a dual-action camera button for the 5-megapixel camera. We have a lock button here, it's also the standby button. And on the top, we get a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is terrific, plus the micro USB for charging and syncing and transferring data. Now, micro USB is not as standard as mini USB, but at least it is a standard, unlike Samsung's proprietary jacks, which it looks like they're not using anymore, which is great. Now, if we go over to the back, we have a surface that is a total fingerprint magnet. It has a 5-megapixel camera up here in the upper left corner with actually 2 flashes to make it extra bright when you're taking a picture of something in a dark area. If we take off the back battery cover, and we can do so with sticking our fingernail in the back here and opening it like so, we reveal the SIM card slot and the battery, which is 1500 milliamp hours. That's a pretty big size for a device of this type without a slide-out keyboard. So we'll have to get back to you on how this fares in terms of battery life. So overall, in terms of hardware, it's clear that Samsung has made a high-end device here. It feels very sturdy in hand. It brings a lot of things that people ask for in a high-end device, such as the 3.5mm headphone jack. It is FM radio, GPS, Wi-Fi B and G, and pretty much all those wireless radios that you expect in a high-end device like this. So we'll be back soon with the software tour, which will actually be in 2 parts. One part, we're going to talk about the home screens because they've totally changed how the home screens act. And in the second software video, we're going to go through all of the programs because Samsung has heavily skinned Windows Mobile to the point where you actually forget that you're running Windows Mobile 6.1. So we'll be back soon with more on the Samsung Omnia II. That's it for now.